Today, I am focusing on a topic that is crucial for any entrepreneur looking to scale their business.
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
And that, my love, is business systems and processes. If that sounds like where you are and what you need in order to grow your business to the empire that you want and get to a point where you can be free and live the life of your dreams, then today's episode is the one for you. So keep watching and let's get to work. Tip number 1, understand the power of thoughtful workflows. Yes, that is the first step. It's the first thing. And I always like to say first things first. Well, this is the first thing.
In the beginning,
Before you jump into anything at all, my love, you must take the time to think through the critical processes and workflows that your business needs. You have to think before you act. This is one of those situations that you have to do that. It's like building a strong foundation for a skyscraper, right? Without that strong foundation, the entire building is going to fall apart and destroy a ton of shit underneath it. The same thing applies to you and your business if you aren't taking the time to actually be thoughtful. So there's a couple things you got to do in this particular tip. Step number 1 is to begin to actually identify the critical processes that you have to have inside of your business. I have done a ton of different videos on what those critical processes are, especially if you are starting your business and growing your business. And there's a ton that you're going to develop over time. But the critical ones really relate to these primary areas. Number 1 is lead generation. You have to have a complete strategy and process for generating leads and marketing things into your business. The second is a true sales process, a step-by-step workflow that people can go through when you are ultimately selling them one of your products and services. Some people call it a funnel, some people call it a workflow, I call it all of the above. The third is an actual onboarding process. That is the process that you have to create once your client purchases something from you before you actually start delivering the service and the product for them. That gets them onboarded, that lets them know what's next, and that ultimately sets the expectations, gets what you need in order to deliver good quality service. And then the final one is that service delivery process or workflow. How are you going to actually get the customer exactly what it is that you've promised them so that they have such an amazing experience that they will give you a great testimonial, give you amazing feedback, and refer other people to you, but most importantly, come back and buy something from you again. So you've got to think through those core ones, and then you've got to begin to step 2 in this particular tip is map them out. Actually get up, get a whiteboard, get a big piece of paper, and begin to map out the step-by-step workflow of what is included in all of those processes. Now, I may be making it sound easier than you think it is. And for some people it comes naturally, like me, and some people it doesn't. So make sure that in this tip you are doing those 2 things, and it will be the beginning of creating effective and efficient processes and systems in your business that will ultimately help you get to that next level and scale to where you see yourself being to achieve that freedom. Tip number 2, I like to call it understanding the art of documenting SOPs. Now, let's talk about this critical step. And it's one that you may have never done, or you may be avoiding doing, or you may have told yourself doesn't really need to be done. And I'm going to tell you why you are totally if you don't document your SOPs.
Oh, hell no!
Documenting these critical pieces of paper, these step-by-step guides that keep everything flowing in your business, ultimately allows you to recruit new team members. It allows you to onboard and train your team, which is ultimately at the core of being able to scale. It allows you to handle customer inquiries so that they have the exact same experience every single time. They are your secret sauce. They allow you to also know what comes next, so it becomes almost like muscle memory. Like if you're working out, your muscles will just start to ultimately remember what should come next. And they're just the thing. They are absolutely critical for you to do. Now, you may be wondering, what do they look like? What do I have to include? And that is why I am going to give you access to my free SOP template. It is the one that I provide to my clients and customers. It's the one that I use in my business. I want you to go ahead and go to the link, CherylCperez.com/SOP, or click the link in the description or the comment below, and you can actually get a free template that you can use to document these SOPs. Because there are 2 critical steps in documenting SOPs. I have a whole nother video that actually trains you and walks you through how to do it. You get where I'm going with this, right? Yes, you do. So look, bottom line, just take tip number 2, document, document, document. Get them out of that pretty little head of yours and onto paper so that someone else can help you get them done. Now, before we dive into tip number 3, if you are finding value in these tips and you want to supercharge your business systems and processes, do not forget to give me a like and make sure you hit that subscribe button. I love the fact that you're here. I appreciate that you're here, and I want to continue to give you value. And that little like button helps me and the YouTube algorithm know that that is what you are thinking. So let's get into these next 2 tips so that we can get your business systems growing, building, growing, and building. Now, tip number 3 is crafting effective and efficient and optimized business processes. So once you have them mapped out and you've got them documented, it is time to maximize and optimize them. And that does take time. It takes monitoring, it takes patience, but most importantly, it takes reviewing and tweaking as necessary. Identifying bottlenecks, identifying which steps in that documented SOP aren't working, that would take more time, that are costing you a lot of money, and ultimately changing them, coming up with new ideas, and tweaking them, implementing them, and seeing if they work. Now, I want to make sure that you guys know what I meant, because I've referred to it a couple of times and I do get this question. Is that CP what you do with people in your coaching and consulting practice? And my answer is yes.
Oh, yes, Daddy.
That is exactly what I do. I offer consulting, coaching, VIP days, as well as digital and online courses. And a lot of times people want to work with me one-on-one in their businesses. And the way to do that is to actually do a VIP program with me. It's a VIP day program, all of the above. And it is when we are actually doing stuff like this. We're drafting out your SOPs. We're building your systems in your organization. We're creating the strategies. We're creating the processes. We're doing all of that stuff together for an entire day over the course of a program that lasts about 4 or 5 months. So if you would like more information on that, or you really think that working with me one-on-one is where you'd like to be, then make sure that you click the link below and apply for a VIP day. You can also go to CherylCperez.com/VIP application. Complete your application. You'll automatically go into my process, and you and I will get a chance to connect, jump on a call, see what's going on in your business, and see if we are a good fit to work together. Now, back to creating and optimizing them. One of the big things that you got to do is to streamline them. So you've got to analyze the processes that you put in place once you've mapped them out and you've documented them. And again, you've got to identify where those bottlenecks are, which steps are working for you, which ones are not working for you, and then you got to make the necessary changes. Now, it is something, that process, that I do on a quarterly basis. But when I'm creating a brand new process in my business and I'm rolling it out to my team, we have conversations every single month. So in our staff meeting, or at least one of them every single month, we actually sit down and we talk about the process that they're doing. Whether it's a customer service process, or whether it's a lead gen process, or whether it's our sales process, or whatever it is, we talk about the process. And I love to get feedback from my team and also from myself on what's working in the process. So we pull out our documented SOP checklist, we go through all of the steps, and I'll say, all right, are any of these steps causing problems? Are any of these steps costing us money? Are any of these steps just not as efficient or effective as we would like to see them being? And my team will point out which steps they are, or I will point out which steps they are, and ultimately say, yeah, step number 3 sucks. We got to figure out something different. If we do this or we do that, then maybe it'll work. But right now, what we're doing is not working. And so we come up with ideas around how to fix it. We implement that and plug that into that process. And then we kind of tweak and we go with it for another month until we have the conversation again, until ultimately we have done that, until the process itself, the SOP, is the most optimized and the most effective that we can get it to be. And And then we moved to only reviewing them once per quarter or even once per year, because things change, shit happens, and you want to make sure that you are reviewing and making sure that the stuff that's going on in your business is a good business. So you've got to continually test and refine what you are doing in order to optimize, but it is critical in building effective systems and processes and improving yours and your business. You got to make sure you're testing and refining in order to get to that level of optimization that will catapult your business to the next level, for sure. My fourth tip in building the systems and processes is embracing the magic of automation. Yes, this is where the magic really does happen. Once you have mapped out your processes, right, and you have documented them, and then you've optimized them, automating as much of them as possible is where your business, the whole thing changes, the whole game changes. And I can tell you from a business owner and an entrepreneur that has been doing this for a very long time, when I wasn't doing this in my first couple of businesses, I was working on average like 60 to 80 hours a week. And it's hard to understand how someone can do that. But first of all, it wasn't just a 5-day work week for me. I worked 7 days a week. And generally, I worked anywhere from like 10 to 12 hours all of those days, including Sundays. There wasn't a week that went by that I wasn't working on Sundays. And once I was able to map out my organizational processes, document them, and optimize them, my work week and work hours decreased significantly. Now, I can honestly tell you that I probably work maybe 40 hours a week now. And that's just because I really enjoy making content as well and dive into working on my business in a lot of those hours and not just in it, which is ideally, I think, where everybody wants to be as they continue to scale. I mean, I am not to the end of my business goal, right? I have not achieved that 9-figure status that I ultimately want to achieve. I want to be in the 9 figures. I want to be in the 10 figures from a financial legacy perspective. And I'm still not there yet, so I still do work, but I get to work at least 10 to 15 hours a week on my business, creating strategy, creating content, coming up with new ideas, creating products and services to sell, and not just going through the rigmarole. And that, my love, is because I have created and built and optimized the systems and processes that are in my business. When you do this, when you actually begin to automate this in your business, it is going to change the game. And so many of those business processes and systems have created automations in my business that once I set them, I can forget them like a crock pot. I set it and forget it. I do not have to touch it every single day. I do not have to do anything with it. I can make sales while I am asleep. I can make sales while I'm out partying and at the club with my girls kicking it. I can make sales when I am spending time with my children, when I am on vacation. And that's all because I have automated so many aspects of my business. So what do you do and what do you have to do in order to really embrace the magic of automation? Well, first, you have to identify repetitive tasks in your business that need to be mapped out, that processes need to be created around, and that SOPs need to be created around. And then when you see those SOPs, they will definitely clearly point you in the direction of which of these steps can be automated, meaning what technology tool can I put in place in order to be able to make this particular thing happen automatically. And that technology tool is really the second piece of making the magic of automation happen. You have to have the right systems and tools in place in order to do them for you. And so, like I said, I can make sales while I'm asleep and enjoying my life. And the reason why I can is because so many of my sales processes are completely automated. But that's not the only thing that's automated for me. My lead gen processes are pretty much automated. My sales processes are completely automated. My onboarding processes are completely automated. And as much of my service delivery processes as possible are completely automated. Now, if I'm delivering something one-on-one to someone, it's obviously not automated because I am customizing that experience and I am working with someone as a VIP in my business. But my digital online courses and my digital products and things like that, they're automated. How they get delivered, what they do, what a person goes through. I can set it and forget it. Now, I do add things to it. I do tweak it because that's just the name of the game. But once I incorporated automation into as much of my business as possible, I am definitely well on my way to my dream of having a 4-hour work week and being a 9-figure business. And if that's what you have and that's your goal, then honey, what I'm talking to you about right now, including this automation tip, is something that you need to be focused on creating in your life and in your business. Because I cannot tell you how entrepreneurship has taken on a different level of satisfaction for me since I've been doing what I'm telling you to do today. So those are my 4 game-changing tips to revolutionize your business systems and processes. Remember, it is all about thoughtful workflows. It is all about mapping everything out. It's all about creating those SOPs. It's all about optimizing your processes. And it is all about the automation, my love. If you liked what you heard today, please don't forget to subscribe, to share, to give me a like. And until next time, my loves, thank you so much for tuning in again. Bye-bye. Mwah!
You an entrepreneur, I got what you need.